The day before my wedding, I received the wedding dress Lucas had ordered long ago, but I couldn't fit into it no matter how hard I tried because the size was wrong. I didn't throw a tantrum or demand an explanation, I just smiled and carefully put the dress away. When Lucas's dream girl offered to be a bridesmaid, I handed her the wedding dress and said, Lucas, prepared this especially for you. Then, taking my cell phone and ID, I bought the fastest flight to Paris. 5 years later, we met again. He was pathetic and miserable. Serena, I've got a wedding dress ready. Will you marry me again? I smiled, showed off the ring on my finger, and replied politely and distantly, sorry, bigamy is illegal. Lucas kissed my forehead as he left, apology in his eyes. Serena, I'm sorry, I have to work late tonight, but I promise I'll be back early. I felt disappointed, but I still forced a smile and nodded. Lucas, then I won't wait for you. After the car disappeared into the darkness, I sat on the bed staring blankly at the newly arrived wedding dress. My face felt slightly cold. The wedding dress wasn't the one I had chosen, and I couldn't fit into the size. It also had a faint scent of perfume, exactly the same as the one Linda liked. 3 days ago, Lucas told me he had ordered the wedding dress. I was overjoyed and ready to pick it up, but he stopped me, saying, "You're too tired." I thought he was being considerate, so I was happy for a long time. But that night, I saw a wedding announcement on social media of Linda wearing a wedding dress with Lucas. In the photo, the two were very intimate, and the way Lucas looked at Linda was something I had never received. The caption read, "I can say that I marry you." I was trembling with anger and questioned Lucas with the photo. He frowned and said lightly, Linda is just being playful. Can't you be a little more understanding? It's just a photo. She doesn't even dislike you, her future sister-in-law, so what are you making a fuss about? If you don't want to get married, let's just call it off. I felt like I had fallen into an ice cave. Afterwards, I repeatedly tried to convince myself and apologize to Lucas humbly. But until today, I really couldn't deceive myself anymore. The wedding dress Lucas sent was the one Linda wore in the photo. Wasn't that too unfair to me? A ding-dong sound. A text message came to my cell phone. Serena, I'm sorry. My water pipe is broken again, so I have no choice but to ask Lucas to come and help. Don't be angry, okay? Attached was a photo. Lucas was bare-chested, his ear tips slightly red, and he was soaked from head to toe. On his firm chest, there was also a small tooth mark. That didn't belong to me. I suddenly felt a tightness in my chest, and my chest hurt terribly. He used the excuse of working overtime at the company, but in reality, he went to find Linda in the middle of the night. How ridiculous. Then what am I, his fiancée? We're supposed to get married tomorrow. 2. I sat blankly until late at night, but there was still no sound in the yard. My face was pale because of the dried tear stains. My eyes fell on Lucas's new social media post, and I couldn't look away for a long time. He rarely posts on social media. The last time was half a month ago, when I begged him for days to post our wedding announcement on social media. I brought over a meal and bought gifts to please him. At that time, he had a cold face and was a little impatient. I don't understand what's the point of posting this useless stuff. Don't you think it's like being a monkey on the street? Serena, you should learn from Linda. She wouldn't be as willful as you. I subconsciously pretended not to hear. I hugged my cell phone and stared at the social media post with a silly smile, not caring at all about his cold words. But now, his new social media post didn't seem unwilling at all. The picture was of Linda standing in the middle of fireworks, tilting her head and smiling at the camera. The caption read, "No matter what the future holds, I will protect you." I bitterly curved the corners of my lips. Tears gradually blurred my vision, and they fell on the screen with a pitter-patter sound. Lucas. Your favoritism is so obvious. It's all my fault for being so stupid, for insisting on being a moth flying into the flame. 3. Lucas came back late at night. I didn't leave the lights on and wait for him until late at night as usual, nor did I get up to make him a bowl of warm noodles. He frowned, and a trace of annoyance flashed in his eyes. Serena, I'm a little hungry. My heart skipped a beat. I turned to meet his deep gaze, and I was surprisingly calm in my heart. If he had been willing to tell me he was hungry before, I would have been ecstatic. But now, I don't want to make a late-night snack. Getting up at night is quite tiring. Thinking like this, I said so. Lucas's eyes paused imperceptibly, and then he strode towards me. Serena, are you throwing a tantrum at me? I was a little confused. He sat on the edge of my bed and tidied my hair. I really had something to do tonight. I didn't mean to not be with you. You can understand, right? A very affirmative tone. Lucas was sure that I would ignore tonight again because of his soft words. After all, the last time he used the excuse of going to work overtime in the middle of the night, it was also to fix the water pipe for Linda. But today, I don't want to indulge him anymore. I pushed his hand away and coldly lay on the bed with my back to him. I understand. Let's sleep. I'm sleepy. The person behind me calmed down for a while. As if he couldn't bear it any longer, he forcefully turned my body over. Serena, what exactly do you want? Do you want me to beg for forgiveness on my knees? Beg and plead as pathetically as you do? I'm getting married to you tomorrow. What's wrong with comforting Linda? She's my sister. What do you have to be angry about? I didn't speak, but stared at his neck for a long time, as if noticing my gaze. Lucas covered his collar a little embarrassedly and threw me on the bed. Linda was in a bad mood and drank some wine. She and I are innocent. Don't use your dirty mind to think about us. I curled my lips and laughed. The last time at the get-together at the bar, when I came back from the restroom, I saw him kissing Linda, passionately. That's how he explained it too. Drunk, innocent. As if saying a few words could really prove that their relationship was innocent. How funny. I was really stupid at that time. When my friends asked me about their relationship, I even covered for him and explained for him. Lucas, I just didn't want to wait for you tonight. I'm sleepy and want to sleep, that's all. 4. In a daze, a large hand wrapped around my waist. Holding me tightly, he whispered a word in my ear. With a bit of helplessness. Serena, when can you be as good as Linda? I closed my eyes again and buried my head in the pillow soaked with tears, pretending to struggle out of his arms as if nothing had happened. As long as I thought of him and Linda, together, I felt disgusted. Lucas, I probably won't be able to become Linda, in my entire life. The next day, I was woken up early in the morning, and the makeup artists were busy around me for a long time. Until Lucas unexpectedly appeared in the makeup room, praising my carefully made-up face. Serena, you look beautiful today. My heart couldn't help but ripple a little, and the corners of my lips curved slightly. But his next sentence made my smile freeze on my face, not knowing what to do. Serena, Linda is here too. I'm afraid she's not feeling well after drinking too much. Can you help me keep an eye on her? Don't worry, Linda is very well behaved. Just give her a dress and let her be your bridesmaid later. Noticing that the atmosphere was not right, all the makeup artists went to the other side. I clenched my palms tightly, and my tongue was bitter. Bridesmaid? The people have already been decided. Wouldn't that be bad? But the next second, Lucas's face darkened. His tone was a little rushed. Then change it. Are those few bridesmaids more important than Linda? It's her wish to watch me get married. You can't just not let her participate because you suspect me and her. That's not fair to her. Can't you have some sympathy? With a thud, Linda, came in from outside with red eyes, looking at me with envy. Her body leaned shakily towards Lucas. Serena, please, I just want to watch you get married. I know you don't like me, but please don't drive me away today, okay? I sincerely wish you happiness. Before I could open my mouth, Lucas's voice became colder. Serena, do you just like seeing people beg you so much? How can you be so cheap? Linda is my sister. I don't care how dirty you usually are. But if Linda isn't here today, the wedding will be cancelled. I stared blankly at Lucas. My eyes fell on Linda in his arms. A tearing pain swept through my heart, and I bit my teeth tightly to stop the tears from falling. When I opened my mouth, my voice was choked with sobs. Okay. As you wish. 5. It was still early, and Linda, with her makeup done, came up to me and joked. Serena, are you still angry about what happened last night? Lucas, and I are innocent. I don't know why my water pipe keeps eking, but luckily I have Lucas. Otherwise, I'd be so scared. As she spoke, she pulled down her collar, revealing the dense red marks and teeth marks inside. The most conspicuous was the antique family heirloom necklace/pendant hanging around Linda's neck. This was Lucas's thing. When we first got together, he told me that it was left by his mother for his future daughter-in-law. When you truly move me and make me fall unconditionally in love with you, I will marry you and give it to you. I was happy for a long time because of this and thought about it for a long time. I didn't see this jade pendant a few days ago, and I thought it was put away by him to be given to me. After all, we're getting married soon, aren't we? But now, it's worn around Linda's neck. Those fantasies of those days were like slaps, hitting me hard on the face. The pain made my face turn pale. Ugh, you're such a green tea. I could tell at a glance. I used to be a green tea myself. Who are you trying to fool? You're just having an affair. The whole sister act is disgusting. Miss Serena, how can you marry someone like this? Several makeup artists ganged up and cursed Linda to the point of bloodshed. I found it funny and shook my head at them. It's okay, it's nothing. This really wasn't anything. After all, Lucas had done even more outrageous things. But just as I was leaving Linda's side, she suddenly fell heavily to the ground and cried out in pain. Serena, please don't hit me, I'll leave, okay? Serena, with a smack. Lucas strode in, picked up Linda with bloodshot eyes, and slapped me hard. Before I could react, Lucas scolded me head-on. In the end, he almost gritted his teeth and said, I knew you were vicious and had despicable means. Why can't you tolerate Linda? How dare you bully her? I warn you, if it happens again, I will definitely kill you. Goo. Tea down on your knees and apologize. Don't get up until Linda forgives you. Kneel. If you don't kneel, the wedding will be cancelled today. I covered my face, my whole body stiff. My heart was cold to the extreme. Until a sharp pain came from my knees, Lucas kicked me to the ground. Ignoring everyone's pleas, he pressed my head to the ground to beg Linda for forgiveness before stopping. I warn you, if anything happens to Linda again, I will kill you directly. Before Lucas turned around, these words lingered in my mind for a long time. So, an iceberg can't be melted. It's because it doesn't belong to me. Coming back to my senses, I only felt pain all over my body when I met Linda's provocative and smug gaze. Both painful and tired, with a strong sense of bitterness in my heart. If only Lucas loved me as much as he loved Linda. Unfortunately, it will never happen. Serena, you're not angry, are you? Don't let me ruin your big day. I smiled. I swallowed the hint of bloodiness between my lips, staggered up took out the gift box containing the wedding dress and handed it to Linda. Linda. Lucas, prepared this especially for you, put it on. I wasn't lying. The wife that Lucas recognized was probably Linda, too. This was the best ending. After saying that, I ran away with my bag as if I was escaping, using the excuse of going to the restroom. I successfully hailed a taxi all the way to the airport waiting room. Only then did I breathe a sigh of relief. When I opened my cell phone, I found that all the messages were from Lucas. He seemed a little anxious. Serena, where are you? What's wrong with you? If you're not feeling well, don't you know to say so? Can't you wait until the wedding is over? Reply to the message. Serena, today is our wedding. What happened to you? Tell me. I took a deep breath, suppressing the pain that was spreading in my heart. Lucas, I won't wait for you to turn around. Happy wedding. 6. I blocked all contact information for Lucas, and Linda. I deleted all the photos and chat records about our less than happy past. I found a nurse assistant in building management to move away everything I couldn't take with me. Take what you need, throw away what you don't need. The moment I sat quietly on the plane, I felt surprisingly relaxed in my heart. It was also on the plane that I finally had a good sleep. After arriving safely in Paris, I opened my cell phone and found that all my friends were calling me frantically. I randomly selected one and opened the chat box. Serena, where did you go? The wedding is a mess. How did the hostess become Linda? Why is she wearing a wedding dress on stage? Where are you? What exactly is going on? Lucas threw a big tantrum, smashed his cell phone and the champagne tower. What's wrong with you two? Don't throw a tantrum at this juncture. Why haven't you shown up yet? There should be a limit to your tantrums, right? Lucas is really angry. I didn't reply. I clicked on the video posted by my friend below. I saw Lucas's hands were covered in blood, and his eyes were bloodshot. He was covered in wine stains and cake, looking extremely embarrassed. Linda was wearing a wedding dress, and several times she cried and tried to step forward to stop him, but she was pushed away by Lucas. At the end of the scene, Linda screamed and fell on the broken glass, covered in blood. Lucas finally came back to his senses and rushed her to the hospital. A good wedding turned into a complete mess. Serena, see, if it wasn't for your willfulness, how could it have turned out like this? You should hurry up and admit your mistake. Otherwise, Lucas won't forgive you. I wanted to laugh a little. Those friends who usually claim to be the most righteous. But since the incident happened, no one cared about how I was doing, nor did they care about why I ran away. Everyone was blaming me for being willful. But was it really my fault? Did I cause today's situation? I was just fulfilling their wishes. I just didn't want to turn a blind eye. I just didn't want to continue liking Lucas anymore. 7. I didn't reply to the messages or answer any phone calls. When I saw them posting on social media to question and criticize me, I just pretended not to see them and blocked them one by one. Occasionally, a strange number would call, and as soon as I answered, I would be greeted with a burst of abuse. I knew that it was the friends who had been blocked by me, coming to vent their anger on behalf of Linda, and Lucas. Sometimes it was Lucas. I couldn't hear the joy or anger in his voice, but he should have been a little tired. Serena, can we talk? The coffee shop, let's meet there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and clear up the misunderstanding, okay? I was wrong to hit you that day, but were you right to bully others? I just didn't want to see you become so bad. It was obviously a small matter, why did you have to make such a big deal out of it? What about Linda's reputation when you gave her the wedding dress? She lost all her face. As he spoke, he became more and more confident. Serena, you come to Seaport City Hospital immediately and apologize to Linda. Her eyes are swollen from crying. At that time, it was about to get dark in Paris. I stood in front of the French window, admiring the sunset, and couldn't help but laugh. Lucas, why do you think it's my fault? The wedding dress you sent wasn't even my size. Didn't you know that? Is Linda, the only one in your heart? You can even mix up our sizes. Lucas was silent on the other end of the cell phone. Just when I thought he was about to hang up the cell phone, his slightly hoarse voice came again, with a bit of disbelief. Just because of the size? You want to run away from the wedding? Serena, aren't you being too childish and willful? Do you know that Linda was covered in glass shards because of you? I was stunned. An indescribable feeling welled up in my heart. I didn't feel good. The last ray of sunset was completely buried in the earth. The entire Paris was completely surrounded by the darkness of night, quiet and beautiful. Yes, just because of the size. If he thought it was because of the size, then so be it. Whatever. Anyway, in his heart, he didn't care about anything else at all. After saying that, I quickly hung up the cell phone and wiped away the raging tears, letting the wind of Paris blow on my face. 8. I didn't answer Lucas's cell phone anymore, nor did I pay attention to the various photos and provocations sent by Linda's alternate social media account. Time flew by, and I used the money I had saved to have fun abroad. There would always be strange text messages on my cell phone. Serena, why are you so petty? Serena, why haven't you come back yet? Aren't you over it yet? From the initial questioning and incomprehension to the later retention and request. Sometimes I would wonder if the person on the other end was Lucas. After all, those words of retention didn't sound like something he would say. But I didn't have time to pay attention to these things. An old acquaintance moved in next door to me. Franklin, a senior from high school. After we recognized each other, we went out to eat, explore, and bungee jump together several times. Sometimes when I sat by the sea and looked at the sea, I would confide in him about the past. Crying messily. He didn't dislike it either, and wiped away my tears one by one. He smiled and said to me, I also have a secret, do you want to? No? I was stunned for a long time. I was more than half sober. I subconsciously wanted to refuse, but he spoke up early. I like the moon, but the moon doesn't know it. Through his eyes, I recalled the unrequited love I had in high school that had no results. That period of green feelings that I had sealed in my mind was finally turned over. Serena, the failure of a relationship doesn't prove that you're bad. It only shows that he doesn't love you and isn't suitable for you. After learning that you came to Paris, I looked for you for half a year before I finally saw you again. There's no such thing as coincidence? I did it on purpose. My heart stirred slightly, and my face turned red. That bit of low emotion disappeared completely. I opened my mouth, but I still didn't know what to say, so I just pretended to be asleep. I didn't take this matter to heart. When Franklin proposed that I pretend to be his fiancée to meet his mother, I readily agreed. After all, I had been in Paris for so long, and it was all thanks to his constant care. Here, put this on. I looked at Franklin, in confusion. He smiled slightly and reached out to rub my head. My mom said it's a family heirloom for her daughter-in-law. He suddenly lowered his head and approached me, his nose almost touching my lips. What do you think? Such a big ring, do you want to consider me? Unlike 2 years ago. This time, my heart beat so fast, and through the rearview mirror of the car, I could only see my blushing cheeks. As if it was about to jump out of my chest. Franklin, you. Don't worry, think about it carefully, okay? 9. Finally, in my 5th year in Paris, I followed Franklin, back to the country. Wearing that ring, I pretended to be Franklin's fiancé at the Franklin estate banquet all night. Some of my former friends were stunned for a long time when they saw me. Serena, you're back? How did you become Franklin's fiancé? What about Lucas, Lucas? Serena, it's you? Do you know that Lucas, has been looking for you all this time? You and Frank. Before I could react, my wrist was grabbed first, and I was pulled all the way to the rooftop. Before I could come back to my senses, a drunken head fell on my neck and shoulder. His arms wrapped around me, like a child who had lost his mommy. Serena, you're finally willing to come back after so many years? I really miss you so much. Please don't leave me, okay? If the wedding dress size is wrong, we can change it, okay? I don't even know why the wedding dress turned into Linda's size. Serena, let's not fight anymore, okay? Let's make up, okay? Come home with me, okay? I really miss you. Everything at home is still there. After you come home, we'll have a wedding and get a marriage license, okay? The strong smell of alcohol made me speechless for a moment. Listening to the somewhat familiar voice, I finally remembered who the person was. Lucas, stop acting crazy. I pushed him away, but he hugged me even tighter. He even started to cry against my neck and shoulder. Big, hot tears fell on my neck, chilling me all over. Serena, don't be angry, okay? I will change. If you don't like Linda, I won't meet her again in the future. Please don't leave me, okay? The person I love has always been you. I really can't lose you. In the end, his voice trembled as he held me tightly, as if he wanted to embed me into his body. I pushed him away fiercely and rubbed my forehead tiredly. Lucas, you're really crazy. His eyes were red and his face was full of tears. I clenched my palms tightly. If I had seen him like this before, I would have softened long ago. But, Serena, haven't you suffered enough? Serena, I have the wedding dress ready. Will you marry me again? Oh, I regret it. I love you. Please don't leave me, okay? I took a deep breath, avoiding Lucas's hand again. Smiling, I raised the huge ring on my hand, polite and distant. Sorry, bigamy is illegal. I have a fiancé, I love him very much, and in the future I will marry him and have children, and spend the rest of my life with him. You should go find Linda, don't ruin your relationship with her because of me. 10. After saying that, I ignored his thunderstruck expression. I walked past him straight to Franklin, who was standing not far away, and reached out to hug his arm. I thought you weren't coming back. Franklin's face was full of pride. He glared at Lucas triumphantly and reached out to put his arm around my waist. I smiled helplessly. It's hard to put a broken mirror back together. Don't you want me to come back? I want you to come back. Serena, don't say that, okay? My heart really hurts. I really can't live without you. Don't go with anyone else, okay? The person you love is obviously me. We should be together. Before we could leave, we were stopped by Lucas, who staggered up to us. He held his head in his hands, looking completely broken down. With a thump, he knelt down in front of me, begging humbly while holding my skirt. Serena, please don't be so cruel to me, okay? I really can't lose you. Give me another chance, okay? I just did something a little bit wrong. You can't sentence me to death directly. It's not fair to me. Serena, how can you bear to forget me? How can you marry someone else? Please come back, okay? The farce had gone on long enough. The guests who knew the truth pointed and whispered one after another. Those who didn't know why cast strange glances at me. Those so-called righteous friends jumped out one by one to accuse me and morally blackmail me, helping Lucas. Serena, there should be a limit to your tantrums. Lucas is already begging for forgiveness on his knees. Yeah, Lucas has been looking for you like crazy for the past 5 years. Can't you just pity him? Linda was implicated because of this. It's all your fault that they can't even be siblings. You've had enough. Apologize to Linda, and go back with Lucas, and get married. Only Lucas, has such a good temper. My body stiffened. The discussions of the people around me entered my ears again. My nails were embedded in my palms, hurting so much that my face turned pale, but I didn't feel it. This scene overlapped with everything in the past. Every time Lucas, and I were unhappy, they would morally blackmail me like this, pushing the blame on me. But did I do anything wrong? My boyfriend kissed and flirted with someone else. Am I not allowed to be angry? Have you said enough? In the few seconds I was stunned, Franklin, put his arms around me. He gently touched my head and gave me a kiss. Lucas cheated and found someone else, and you enablers are still pretending to be virtuous women? What did Serena do wrong? Why should she apologize? Why don't you tell the mistress to crash into a wall and commit suicide to atone for her sins? Isn't the mistress the one who ruins relationships? Our Serena is kind-hearted. What's wrong with her fulfilling the wishes of lovers? Is there anything wrong with that? 11. For several days in a row, I stayed at the Franklin residence. Franklin's mommy treated me very well and didn't care about my past with Lucas. Except for constantly urging us to get married, there were almost no problems. She was also worried that I would be unhappy because of Lucas, and keep it to myself, so she asked Franklin to take me out to play. When I arrived at the race car field, I finally swept away the haze. My eyes sparkled with stars, and I looked at Franklin eagerly. Try it? Okay. I really like race cars and have always dreamed of driving a race car in the wind. It was just that after I was with Lucas, he didn't like me playing these things. He told me several times, girls should be well behaved like Linda, don't play with this kind of man's thing. There was no way. I loved him too much at that time. Therefore, I gave up my hobby. But now, I can enjoy it to the fullest. After finishing the third lap, I excitedly got out of the car and ran into Franklin's arms. A familiar figure walked over from a short distance away, holding a bottle of water and wearing a familiar smile. Serena, I didn't expect you to be a race car driver. It's so cool and suits you so well. Here, have some water. You must be tired. The excitement on my face faded, and my tone became calm and cold. No, thanks. Lucas gave a bitter smile, his eyes bloodshot. He hadn't even shaved the new stubble on his chin, looking disheveled. Serena, have we become so distant? Please, give me another chance. I'm willing to do the things you like, to go to the places you like. I can be better than Franklin. Serena, please, look back at me. I shook my head without a word. I found it ridiculous. He wasn't there when I needed him, but now that I don't want him, he comes crawling back. Why? Because of my love for him? But I don't love him anymore. Serena, I'll send Linda away and end things with her. Please, believe me? Those posts on her social media account are fake. Even the one with me was posted using my cell phone without me knowing. I really didn't know anything about it. We used to love each other so much. Don't give up so easily, okay? I shook my head again, pursed my lips, and finally spoke. Lucas, this is getting pathetic. The night before the wedding, I told you when you left that I wouldn't wait for you. You slowly wore away my love, wore away our relationship. I didn't warm your heart, and I don't want you anymore. Love? Was it love? Or was it just missing each other? It was only after leaving you that I realized how happy and free I could be driving a race car. 12. Franklin and I set a wedding date. First, I was sure of my feelings and saw his sincerity. Second, he couldn't wait any longer. After that day, I didn't see Lucas for a long time. Days passed, uneventful and smooth, but incredibly fulfilling. Franklin went to pick up the wedding dress that day, and I waited a long time. I waited until it was dark, until my heart had completely sunk, but there was still no news. Then, the hospital called. Hello? Ms. Serena? Franklin and Lucas are in the operating room right now. The situation is very dangerous. My mind went blank. I couldn't hear anything else and rushed to the hospital. I don't know how many times I fell on the way, or how many people I bumped into. I couldn't care less. When I got to the operating room door, Franklin was still in critical condition. I sat blankly in the corner, tears streaming down my face. Franklin, how could this happen? We were about to get married. Why did this have to happen? I had finally found happiness. Why did fate have to play a joke on me? I buried my head in my knees, suppressing my sobs and my collapsing mind. Lucas, who is Lucas's family member? The patient is hemorrhaging. We need a consent form signed. I'm Lucas's sister. I can sign. A familiar female voice came. I blankly looked up and stared for a long time before recognizing the woman covered in blood. It was Linda. Noticing my gaze, Linda shrank back guiltily. Then, her face became righteous, and she pointed at my nose, cursing angrily. Bitch! It's all your fault. You harmed Lucas. If it weren't for you, he wouldn't have had the car accident. You jinx! You damned bitch! You're the one who should die. You bitch! Why don't you go die? If Lucas ends up hurt, I will never forgive you. She lunged at me like a madwoman, leaving scratches on my neck. Especially near my artery, she wanted to crush it. I reacted and pushed her away, slapping her hard across the face. You're crazy. The patient is out of danger. Transfer him to a ward. Is Franklin's family here? He's seriously injured. Observe his body carefully and call for help immediately if anything is wrong. 13. I ignored the crazy Linda. I stayed by Franklin's bedside for 3 full days. Franklin's mommy was away on a business trip and couldn't come back right away. Fortunately, Franklin was strong and recovered well. On the 5th day, Franklin finally opened his eyes. When he saw me, he was stunned for a moment, reaching out to grab my side, but his hand met empty air. Serena, the wedding dress. My nose instantly stung, and I held his hand, crying my heart out. Franklin, you scared me to death. Do you know you've been asleep for 5 days? You really scared me. What happened? Why the car accident? He was probably too weak to speak, so I leaned closer to his lips, listening intently. But he gently kissed my cheek. I froze instantly, my cheeks flushed. The warmth spread all the way into my heart. Serena, I'm sorry I couldn't protect the wedding dress. Please, don't be mad at me, okay? You idiot! I lightly pinched his good side. Nothing is more important than you. I can always buy another wedding dress, but there's only one Franklin in the world. Lucas also woke up, but his condition wasn't good. He kept demanding to see me. Lucas's mommy tried several times to get me to see Lucas, but I refused, saying I needed to take care of my fiancé. In the end, Lucas came to me on crutches. He cried as he tugged at my clothes. Serena, don't you feel sorry for me? I'm in so much pain. You used to care about me the most. Can we get back together? I really can't live without you. I refused again, no matter how much Lucas's mommy raged and insulted me. I insisted on finding a nurse assistant to send them both back to the ward. I took care of Franklin carefully for more than half a month. Franklin was finally able to get out of bed. The first thing he did was call the police. The car accident wasn't an accident at all, and it wasn't because he couldn't see clearly. It was Lucas's car that deliberately drove towards him, and he couldn't avoid it in time, so he was hit. Lucas wasn't the only one in the car. There was a woman too. Also, based on the way he was driving that day, I can tell he was drunk. He must have been incited by the person next to him while he was unconscious. 14. Combining what I saw outside the ward that day. The police retrieved the driving recorder and the surveillance footage from that area. They finally found the culprit, Linda. When she was arrested, she was very thin, but she still cursed at me. Serena, you shameless bitch. I'll kill you someday. I won't let you get away with this. Ha ha ha. I was the one who got Lucas drunk, I was the one who instigated him to drive and hit someone. But so what? I just want you to be miserable. Why was I wearing a wedding dress, but Lucas still wouldn't marry me? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be like this. You're a bitch. Why are you loved by everyone? It's not fair. I'm going to destroy everything you care about. I found it ridiculous. Just because of such an absurd reason. She wanted to kill me? Lucas wasn't doing well either. After recovering from his injuries, he was also arrested by the police. Drunk driving, intentional assault. Although he was not fully conscious, he was still sentenced to a considerable amount of time. Before going to prison, he looked at me with red eyes. Serena, if I hadn't picked up the wrong wedding dress that day, would we not be at this point? My steps faltered slightly. If he hadn't picked up the wrong wedding dress? Then I might have happily tried on the wedding dress, only to find out that he went to be with Linda in the middle of the night. Everything else would have happened the same way. The problem wasn't the wedding dress at all. Even now, he still hasn't realized what our real problem was. How ridiculous. Lucas, is our problem just about a wedding dress? I looked at Lucas calmly. He was about to cry, with a bitter look on his face that he couldn't hide. Serena, I really, really like you. I'm just afraid to say it, afraid to express it. I only have brotherly feelings for Linda. I don't understand girls, so I did a lot of things that hurt you. I'm sorry. I don't dare to ask you to forgive me, and I know you won't give me another chance. Just one thing, can we still see each other in the future? He looked at me with caution, with a hint of hope and longing. But I just held Franklin's hand tightly and shook my head. If possible, I hope I never see you again. 15. Franklin and I got married and had a daughter. Franklin's mommy was busy taking care of her granddaughter, so she sent us to Paris for a trip. Sitting in front of the floor-to-ceiling window again, watching the sunset, I leaned in Franklin's arms. My heart was full, no longer empty. Franklin, honestly, did you have a crush on me a long time ago? Franklin smiled and turned over, forehead to forehead, gently pecking my lips. My moon, she finally knows I like her. Back in high school, the first time I saw you, I thought, how could there be such a silly girl? I was both embarrassed and angry. I bit his shoulder hard, then shrunk back like a quail in his wolfish gaze. Serena, should we give our daughter a little brother or sister? On the day we returned home, I saw Lucas again. He was no longer high-spirited, and his face no longer had the coldness that kept people away. When he saw me, his eyes were full of smiles. Serena, long time no see. What a coincidence. I nodded politely. He seemed to have something more to say, opening his mouth on his own. You look really happy by his side. I touched the slightly grown-out flesh on my cheeks and smiled, nod. Dean. Yes, Franklin loves me very much. Before Lucas could say anything else, a small figure ran down from a business SUV in the distance, throwing herself into my arms. Mommy! Baby/sweetheart missed you so much. Franklin then walked to my side and reached out to touch his daughter's head, annoyed. What about Daddy? Don't you miss Daddy? Miss Daddy too. Across the crowd, Lucas's eyes were full of loss and nostalgia. His body swayed, as if he had aged dozens of years. Serena, I wish you happiness. The end.